back to Plain and Simple Projects as we talk through this 100-year-old oil boom house remodel. Once the roof sheathing had been replaced and new shingles installed and the majority of the demo completed underneath, and finally the foundation leveled to its best extent, it was time to take on the bowed ceilings that were bending down. The house had been built with makeshift trusses with solid wood across the rafters. Some of that solid wood had rotted and needed to be replaced. The makeshift trusses included random sizes and thicknesses of wood. It was almost like the builders just used the leftovers to fill in the trusses. Once I had carefully started that dark and hot work, I needed a plan to raise the ceiling, which involved a very large jack. You see it in these pictures here. I placed this jack on 2x4 wood in order to spread the load of the lift out on the floor. Once that part of the ceiling was lifted, and the next step was to crawl back into the attic and resecure the disconnected strong arms and other bracing. This would often include adding additional bracing to further strengthen the weak connections. The first step was to replace the truss pieces that were obviously disconnected from the rafters or ceilings, with a plan to adjust those as the ceiling was lifted. In this picture you can see the bowed ceiling pretty easily. As the ceiling was lifted, I ended up using a combination of nails and screws to secure the bracing. The screws were meant to hold it tight, while the nails added strength to the shear tendency of the trusses. Some of the ceiling shiplap had been rotted, and I had to be careful not to use the ceiling shiplap to stand on, as I would have fallen through. Some of these pictures you can see the fresh wood being installed in place of the missing and fallen pieces along each of the truss sections. This process was repeated over and over again along various trusses until the ceiling was lifted enough that I had confidence a half-inch sheetrock could be attached without noticeable bow. In this video you can see how I went through each truss section by section to lift the truss and reattach it to its either strong arms or other members.